KICKASSETS. Ching.
We have my rental guy coming.
お願いします。
お願いします At the same time,
お邪魔します。
I got my client here. It's hilarious. So you can actually learn something while we're doing it. Hi, どうぞ。
お邪魔します。
どうぞ。
こんにちは。
じゃあ、友達です。すいません。
大丈夫です。
はい。
すいません、こちらこそ。で今日は一応最後の確認ってところ、
はい。
はい、をさせていただければと思いまして。
はい、わかりました。
すいません、ちょっとお
This
時
is
間ください。
It's the last final deciding. It's a lot. It's not easy. It took like 4 or 5 steps. Right.
で一応、
So
こ
here's,
の間の
you can learn here. Perfect
仕様
timing for you.
変更で、
はい。
この色ですね。色を変えてくださいってことだったので、
はい。
色変えさせていた
はい
だきました。
この色は反対側のやつでも一緒ですね。
あ、そうです、そうです。
はい
それがこっちですね。
あ、これですね。
はい
一緒。Okay. So they chose this for the same bottom, but they chose a different color for the top. That's his choice, so that's his service. Thank you. Instead of asking for a discount, I said just add those for free. And he said okay. So
で、ついてるものがこの中のものです
these are all
ね
the。stuff that's included in there. It's the dryer I was telling you about. 普通のもの全部ですね。今日注意した方がいいところないんですよね。
All right, here we go. Hello, welcome.
Hey, Colin.
Good day yesterday, my friend.
Yeah, it was great, right?
It was a long day. How long did we go driving for?
Full day. We started at
We started 9 o'clock,
9
yeah.
o'clock, and we made it back at 7,
That's right.
just about before they closed.
Yeah, we started our journey with Daniel here. Yesterday we saw 4 properties. First one we rented the car at 9 o'clock, and we drove there and we arrived there at 10 o'clock. And then we saw the second property at 12 o'clock.
12, yeah.
And he went a little overboard, so we were late for our second property, which was supposed to be at 2 o'clock, but we ended up arriving there at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then we saw that quickly, and then we realized, oh, the sun's going down, and we had to rush to our 4th property. Luckily, there was a key box there, and we didn't have to meet an agent, so we could just show up there. So today, we are going to go over all the properties we saw together and discuss them, because it's important to be thorough in this stuff. And that's why these videos are very long, because if you take this kind of thing seriously, then watching a 1 hour, 2 hour, even 4 hour video is what needs to be done, because this is not a simple process that could be fooled around with, and and we want people here who take this seriously, right? So, and you're learning from your experience that you just can't magically come over here and pick up a house easily, especially without seeing it, right?
You have to go over and see it, right?
Yes.
And that's the only way to learn and experience it for real.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if you want to be like Daniel here and go on for a journey, then hit me up at Kick Assets on YouTube or KICKASSETS.HOMES. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, that will be a great experience. I mean, we had a great day yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I'm happy you were here to help me.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
So if you want to be like him, he was very easy. Please be easy like him and be fun and nice, because you know it's really important when you're flexible to understand the situations, and especially when you were meeting agents, how you come off is very important.
Right.
You know, especially when you don't speak the language. So if you
Correct,
come off as
correct.
arrogant or whatever, come in here like you can get what you want.
Yeah, that won't work.
You felt like that when we met a couple agents yesterday, right?
Yeah, initially, right? For the first, I would say 5-10 minutes, there was that kind of little bit caution from their side, I guess.
Yes.
But the ones you started to talk, and once they understood that this is going to be easy for them also, then they were more like lightened up, right? So
especially house number 2 and house number 3.
Yeah, correct.
They're like their faces like, oh.
Yeah, even if I couldn't understand Japanese, I could understand that was the situation.
Yes, and that's of course I'm translating for you, so you have to trust me on that, right?
Yeah.
It's actually it's what happened, especially with house number 2. The way he was so nice to us after and so on. Agent number 3 was pretty excited too. He asked me a lot of questions about why I can do all this. It's just like, I don't know, I'm so used to it that I forget sometimes, you know, I'm just being me, so.
Yeah, right.
So, I'm assuming you watched videos 1 to 4, which is all our property viewings, and today we're doing our summary of what we should go with, and we're going to give our positives and negatives on each property, and I gotta tell you from the start that not unlike all the other places I've looked at for other clients, this has been the hardest one until now. Like, I honestly liked all 4 properties, and I can justify getting all 4, and I can understand all my viewers would could see also getting all 4. So please tell us in the comments which one you would like, or which 2. In some cases, not here. These ones are more expensive, so it's a little harder to get 2. Right. Unlike some of my other clients, Marchin picked up 2 because they were dirt cheap. So yeah, but we went over houses in detail as well. Like he was a very thorough person as well. But this is my first time to do this with somebody like this, and if you're here, I think it's a great idea. It's fun. Why not?
Exactly.
Why not do it? Because we can learn as we're going. Because when you're watching videos of the houses you go through, I find you pick up things you missed, and sometimes your mind can change.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, you guys at home can learn something too, which is what this is all about. So, all right, are you ready?
Yeah.
So we're gonna play our videos. Make sure you turn off the sound first.
Okay.
Of the whole computer. Okay. You can do that. That one's for every video too.
Right. Okay. Let's turn it off over here. Okay.
All right.
Let's go for it then.
Okay. So basically, this is house number 1, which we saw in Higashiomiya, right?
Yeah.
And Higashiomiya's good point was that it's one train to either side of Tokyo, right?
Right, exactly.
So it was good access. What was the time by train?
From the station, I think it's like 42 minutes to Shinjuku and like 39 to Tokyo. That's what I remember.
Okay,
so
but to the walking?
Yeah, walking was it 17 minutes to the station, right?
Okay, so altogether we got an hour.
Yeah, correct.
So this house technically was the closest to Tokyo, especially both sides, which made it that was a huge part for me. It's really good. The distance from the station could be nullified by a bike. So, which you cannot do when you're farther away on a different station, right?
Yeah.
So, even if I'm closer to another station, I can't make that any quicker.
Correct.
The train is determined. So this house out of the 4 was the best one for location-wise, especially accessing on the map. If you look, you can hit both sides of Yamanote, Ueno or Ikebukuro, Shinjuku, whatever the side, or Tokyo Eki on the side, or Akihabara, wherever you want to go. So, and Yokohama. So it's very, very good access from there, and it's also pretty close to Omiya Station, which is a bullet train station.
Right.
You can actually bike to Omiya, which is another good point. So that was one thing I really, really liked about this house. And the fact that it wasn't that far. It was a medium range from the station. It wasn't close, but it wasn't super far either.
Correct,
it was good enough.
Exactly. So. And it was fully renovated.
Yes. So I'll go over my good points first to get them out of the way, and then I'll let you go after. So, and the second point I really liked about this house was it was the cheapest of the 4. And not only was it the cheapest of the 4, it was fully renovated already.
Yeah.
So it was almost like half price the other houses, to be honest. Not only was the house cheap, but the inside was already fully renovated. So it was an older house. I can't remember the year of the house. Probably a 70s house, I'm guessing.
I think it was 86. Yeah.
This house was 86?
Yeah. But I didn't really look on anything
earlier
than 81.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some of the renovations looked a bit older. Maybe it was renovated. I don't know. Maybe it was triple renovated.
Yeah.
But you can see here, like the new switches and stuff like that. It's like it hasn't been peeled off yet. So I mean, that stuff and those doors and the renovations they actually did really good renovations. There's a lot cheaper ones you do, but that's like all newer stuff. So for the value at the price, which was $17.99, and I felt like I could get it down a smidgen. I think by the vibe I got from the agent. The agent wasn't the best agent ever. He was kind of just a salesman guy and just standing there. He wasn't like being nice to us, or he's just being normal. I'd say
just being there for us.
Yeah. So you can see the windows here. They kind of look like the older styles, but everything else is brand new.
Yeah.
And it's so like the renovations alone is probably 4 to 5 million yen put into this house.
Okay.
So which means they bought the house originally for cheaper because it's owned by a real estate company, and they basically bought a house to renovate it to flip it, which is something more common these days. And this, like, if I look at the quality here, this is a good quality wash, like compared to what I showed you just a minute ago on those Renos I'm doing. So I've never seen this brand before actually, but it's different. Doesn't look as nice as the one I have in my bathroom, but it's still pretty good, and it's got all the functions.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. But this is what you can get if you have an older house and you want to renovate it. These are options you can choose as well. So it has the options like here. It says to dry or heat up the room before you get it, like in the winter when it's cold. You can do all these things. I'm lazy, so I don't do that stuff, but it's an option if you want. Yeah. So, and all the wallpaper's been changed. So yeah, so it's like, I'd say, it could be 5 million yen. Like the washroom and kitchen alone could be 2-3 million yen, right? And then the wallpaper and all the other stuff. I mean, you could technically say 6-7 million. I don't know. It really depends on the company. But the problem here is that, or the good thing for them is that they're a company themselves. So obviously they renovated at their price. So they're not looking to make profit off that. Instead of making profit off the renovations, they're making profit off the actual sale of the house.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, condition, location, price were 3 things for me. Oh, plus it had parking.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And it had a bigger garden than we imagined. And the layout was okay.
Yeah.
The bad things, not really a bad thing, but it was just a typical house. Like, it was nothing unique or special about it.
Right.
And the parking was a little bit tight to get into. But other than that, there weren't that many negatives. But it wasn't special. So what were your thoughts on that house?
I mean, I think you covered most of it already, honestly. But
sorry.
No. But
we're the same. I read his mind.
Yeah, exactly. No, but like I said, there, right? I mean, obviously, it's very nicely renovated.
Yeah,
that was kind of what was standing out. I mean, I wouldn't have to do anything over there, to be honest with you, if I were to move there.
Yeah, there's nothing you need to do.
Exactly, and also
just air cons.
Yeah, right. And price, like I said, right, it was like 18.9 when I found it, and they lowered it to 17.9.
Yeah, so it's going to go fast. It has to go fast, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
so yeah.
How much was it minus the renovations? It means the house was you're getting what's the land worth? It's crazy, right?
Yeah. So in some way, this on this one,
you had that.
Yeah, you kind of you know what you're getting here, right?
Yes,
you know it's like it's already done.
Yeah.
The other properties you looked at, it's like some unknown to them, right?
Yeah.
So.
And that's the issue when you're looking at properties that need repairs. You have to have a good imagination to imagine what it would become. And that's why it was lucky we saw this like it is, because when we saw this, we had our other 3 properties which needed renovations.
Yeah.
So you can have a picture. Here's what it can look like if I put the money in.
Correct.
So
exactly.
It helped.
Right.
It's like God was giving it the order exactly the way it's supposed to be.
And like that, it's good to see different properties, right? Because this one, it made me think that it's more like a normal. Maybe you can find a few more of these, but at the same time, it's nothing bad with it. But it doesn't. Somewhat maybe smaller garden than I expected or that I want. But at the same time,
but it's also a bigger garden than you imagine.
Yeah, correct.
So
you need to see these things to actually kind of experience them and learn from the experience, right? Because it's going to change. It's going to change how you're thinking about the whole journey, right? So,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I've learned that the more clients I do, we learn that the more houses we see, right? And I start understanding the more what you guys want as well, not just what I look for. And each client wants something different, right? Or they appreciate different. Like my Polish client, Marcin, he loves seeing all the gadgets and things in the house. He's like, wow. So, and somebody else might think, it's garbage, So it really depends.
Yeah.
But there was actually one unique thing about this house. The room on the 1.5 floor.
Oh yeah.
Then remember the staircase?
True.
The staircase cut in half, and there was a room there.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before. That was pretty cool. I like that. So yeah, I mean, there it is, right there.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, I think overall this is the best here. You could just move in basically, right? You wouldn't have to worry about much.
No, and the size was perfect.
Yeah.
Like there was it wasn't too big, it wasn't too small. It was just right. So, for me the only issue was what you requested before was the garden.
Yeah.
So I was surprised because it was bigger than we originally thought, but it's still not a big garden. So it's better than we thought, but it's still not there. And that's, what were you looking for in a house exactly? I don't want to just say it for you so you can tell the people.
In general, or?
Yeah, what was your, couple things that were important to you?
Around, looking for a larger garden, right? So when I was searching, I was kind of looking for 100 at least, but if I find 150 square meter, that's perfect.
Oh, for the land itself?
Yeah, for the land. For the land, right? Yeah. So when I was searching, looking for 100 plus, but even 150, right? Some searches. And house around, 80 square meters plus.
Perfect. That's good.
And, and the budget we're looking at in the beginning, I guess I started 10, 15, and then we increased it to 15, 20. Yeah. But and then decided, if I find something nice, a few more million, right? Yeah. That was the idea.
But you started to see what kind of options opened when you opened your budget up.
Yeah. And I started to also understand that, if I should be able to get what I wanted, right, I had to increase my budget slightly, because otherwise I will probably not end up buying anything at all.
Yeah. Well, especially in your case, because you're not looking for an investment per se.
Correct.
You're looking for your one home.
Yeah.
So like I always tell people, if you're looking for an investment, then you can sacrifice on things because you just want to make money on your rent, ROI.
Right.
On this property, you're looking for something for yourself. So
Right,
you can
correct,
spend the
correct.
extra money on it and
Yeah,
enjoy it
yeah,
because you get
yeah.
the profit that way. Right?
Correct,
So,
exactly.
okay, good. So garden was land.
Yeah, another thing, right, that we keep looking for, but this is something we're going back and forth on, right? Like, there's distance to the station, right? Of course, in the beginning, we really wanted something walking in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But then, we talked about using a bicycle, finding buses. So
Yeah.
I guess I'm a little bit more flexible there now.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, the closeness to the station, having some kind of area, the house should be like a cozy or like some kind of livable area, right?
Yeah.
There should be some life going on, right?
Yeah. But that's the problem when you get closer to the station.
Correct.
You saw my station here versus a couple stations you
Yeah,
saw.
exactly.
The closer to the station could be different.
Right.
Like if you're in Tokyo and close to the station or here,
that's
it's quite tight,
correct.
so it's not fun. But
Correct.
if you're in the little farther out and you're closer to the
Yes,
station,
yes.
you have options to have a little more space.
Exactly.
So you just have to experiment
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
Don't be stubborn on exact minutes.
Correct. And the last thing,
Just
I
learn
guess,
from it.
was more about 1 hour from Tokyo, right? Or like about 1 hour from Yamanote, I guess. Like usually we search Shinjuku and Tokyo, right, as a reference point. But 1 hour, 50 to 60 minutes, like train, and then like plus 10, 15 minutes total, 60, 70 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
And that's where this property was far superior than the other three properties in the fact that it was not only possibly the closest, but it was the closest to many stations on the Yamanote line because it had access to both points, like I said. So
Right.
for me, that's very important. That's why I like this area. I'm here too because I'm near Urawa.
Exactly.
So, and Omiya is the other great place. Right. So, but yeah, as you said about the land, 100, you're really calling it tight. Like my house, you met, the land is 100 that you saw. That's next door.
Your house?
Yeah, my house over there.
That's 100? Okay.
That's 100. The land's 100. So you can see my little garden there. It's a
you
little
have
cute
a
little
garden.
garden
Yeah,
in the front there. So it's not really much I can do for gardening, but it's a little design.
Right.
So once you start getting to the 100, then that's when you start getting more lands because most of the house is going to take up that space, right? Especially with open space around it. Because you don't want, it's not going to be tight to the land.
Yeah,
So-
it depends where your house is positioned on the land, right?
Yes.
And it depends on like if your neighbors have a big land.
Yes.
That helps a lot, right?
Yeah,
So-
oh yeah, that's It's not only your land space, but it's also theirs that opens it up more. You feel,
exactly.
you felt that yesterday, right?
Exactly,
So
exactly.
that's huge.
Yeah.
So when you got 400 meters square like my man cave here, then there's obviously gonna be a garden.
That's a different situation.
But usually 100 you might get a garden, but 150 you're bound to get some sort of garden.
Yeah.
So that's
True,
the
true.
issue. You never know, right?
Yeah.
So okay. So any questions about house number 1? You're good?
I think we're good for now.
Yeah, hey guys.
I might look at my notes later on when we're done with all the 4 viewings, I guess, because I have.
Oh, to review
I need to see.
everything?
I see my notes only to remember everything, but.
Okay. So we'll ask questions on that later. Good.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's move
go
on
for
to
the
house
next
number
one.
2. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, here we are at house number 2. This agent was fabulous. He was old school, so he brought us to the office first, gave us some tea to make sure, and he wanted to get to know me first because he wasn't sure. He didn't want to show the inside. He was reserved to show the pictures of the inside and all this stuff before he actually knew me. And as soon as he found out I was speaking fluent Japanese and I was going to be with you on this, he was like, oh, he opened up so much more.
He became your best friend, right?
Yeah, he pretty much became my best friend. He was selling for me. I got to put that video out there too. I get a lot of clients who sell me. It's great. I love them. It's not just one I work with all of them, right?
Yeah.
So I'd say my success rate is 70-80%. You get the occasional cold dude who doesn't give a crap, and then you get the occasional guy like the first agent who doesn't. Who's a rookie, right? So he doesn't know any better. So the older generation appreciate guys like me because we're straight talkers. We're normal, right? We're not hiding anything, and that's what they are.
Yeah.
That's how Japanese are, especially the older generation. You be cool with them, they're cool with you. They're logical thinkers. Okay, so this house, the outside was fabulous.
Yeah, I mean.
It was really good, and the good point was that all 4 sides of the house there was space, as you can see as I'm walking around here. So the side was a little bit. This back had a little bit more, and the front had a little bit more than this, and the other side had parking. So this house had a great curb appeal for me.
Yeah.
It looked like it was a really nice house back in, was it 90s or 80s? When was this house?
87, I think.
87, yeah. It looked like it was a good design in 87. And the good point about this house is that they redid the roof. They painted the roof, and they painted the outside of the house, which is, to do that, can cost you 3 million yen. So maybe 2.5 to 3 million or something like that, depending who does it for you. As you can see, it looks really nice. And look at the nice, you get parking for...
It's a nice vibe, right?
Yeah, it's a nice vibe. Two cars. Yeah. So I really like that. And I mean, they can't be the biggest cars. I mean, you can adjust if you want, but I told them it's not worth it. Just deal with it. And you can see this has all been done here, the renovations. That's important to notice because a lot of houses you see like old things coming down.
Okay.
And I mean, it's easy fix, but you got to pay money, right?
Right.
That's how I test to see if
No,
there's
it's good.
paint.
It's good. It's an old house, right? They already
Yeah.
taking care of that.
Yeah, so they take care of it.
Yeah.
And these things are important. Sometimes some of the old houses you get ones that are falling apart or whatever,
okay.
and they close. So if the house is not tilted too much, there's little minute issues you got to pay attention for.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but the good thing about Japan is a lot of agents tell you the truth. They tell you these things, like little things that you wouldn't notice on your own. Like, okay, go. I noticed because I'm so used to it, but a lot of foreigners wouldn't notice, and they don't know what to ask.
Right.
So look at that little beautiful.
Was that? Yeah.
This is the front of the house. I mean, you could use it as a little garden if you want to, but you can also use it just as trees. You can it has some room there to do what you want. And the good thing about this garden in the front here is that your trees can grow over the street where you don't have to cut it.
Right.
So because if your tree goes over a property line,
you have to trim it. Right?
you have to cut it.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the outside? You like that?
No, I this is kind of was it 173 square meters? So
Of land? Yeah. It was a big piece of land.
Yeah, I mean this is like the
Massive
outside
piece
is
of
really
land.
good here, and I mean, and if you walk around the block, it's also like good. It's a good vibe
Yeah,
in the
it's a good vibe.
in the place, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And even the neighbors around it, the houses were really nice too.
Exactly.
So I love this.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
There's a nice agent, but I love this bigger, I should say, than normal entrance.
Yeah.
So there's no shoebox and stuff, so you can do whatever you want. And the wood was in good condition, which is important for this wood because it sucks to cover it.
Yeah, that one I would say that one can be kept. You know.
Yeah, you kept. Yeah, that's what. But because when it's in bad condition, what do you do? Like some guys have scruffs or markings on it, and it's hard to remove. So like that was.
I didn't see that yesterday.
Yeah, that was nice. I got that. So it's a cute little thing. It's just a sticker on there. It's in good condition, so
it's a sticker.
it's nice. Yeah.
I thought it was glass. But
No, but it still looks good.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
So the wallpaper obviously needs to be changed.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I mean, that's the one negative of this house is it needs a full redone. But the layout is really good. And look at that old school senmendai. What are they called in English? Washlets or something? Or senmendai?
Yeah, washlets, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's really old school, but it's in really good condition. So we were
Yeah, it
shocked
was
when we
like-
saw
it
it, right?
was-
We were shocked.
Yeah.
But this room is really big, which means that you can put a washing machine and any size washlet you want in there. And this washroom, most importantly, was 16 by 16,
Okay.
1.6 meters by 1.6 meters. Because most washrooms are 16 by 12,
okay.
which is mine, which you saw.
Oh, okay.
So 16.6 means you can get more
Like a bigger unit.
bigger rooms. So Vikings like you can have
Oh,
more
okay,
space, you know.
okay,
He's a
great.
big boy.
Great.
How tall are you?
191.
191?
Yeah, 6'3".
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 6'3". He's a big guy. And I thought I was big. I'm just kidding. Same blood.
Yeah.
Different fathers. Okay, so I mean, this washroom is usable as is, this bathroom here, but yeah, I would change it. But
Yeah,
but just I mean, if it's one house, yeah, go for it. You know, you want your best house, and especially because the changing a bathroom offers a lot of value. So.
Exactly.
And same thing with the kitchen. The kitchen, like everything in this house needs to be done. It needs new wallpaper, it needs new flooring, it needs new ceiling. There's a lot of things that looked like they were nice at one point, but yeah, they all need to be done.
Exactly.
And the cool thing about this house, the agent, when he put on this paper, which is rare, I don't have the paper with me, he put on there the cost it would take to renovate this house fully, because he offered that service on top. And the price he gave was it 3.8 million yen?
3.5 or something, right?
3.8,
yeah, something like that.
3.8.
Yeah.
But it was really cheap. So it's a little bit. Is that true? But at the same time, at least it's cheap. So you're starting from a lower number. That if he adds any extra expenses on top of that, it won't go too high.
True.
Because I thought that price would start at 5 or 6 million for sure, right? Like,
Right.
because you just saw my rental
Such a
sheet,
big house,
right?
so,
yeah. The only thing expensive was the thing that I thought was expensive at first was the wallpaper. But then I realized the house is very big, so it made sense.
Right.
So I think that price might go up a little bit. But if it stays like that, cool.
That's amazing,
It's
right?
amazing,
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah,
that's like what, 25,000 American for your whole house being renovated. That's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah.
That gets you a bathroom in Canada. You know? Sorry, just a toilet. Like he even showed on the toilets. There 2 toilets were $2,000 a piece, and that's we're talking the room. We're talking the washlets. I'm assuming that's really cheap.
Yeah.
That's insane for those nice little Japanese toilets. Like wow. I mean, obviously he's going to make you choose the models, and maybe the price might go up a little bit.
Okay,
but at least you have a choice. So,
Yeah.
So we got some of the work with.
Exactly.
So the positive about this house for me was the curb appeal on the outside and everything, and the layout of the house is amazing. The land was big, and the house was very big, but not too big. Like it was a really cool big, I'd call it. Like all the rooms were just a smidgen bigger than to make it feel a little open air. The only negatives was it needs a lot of renovations. The power was only 30 amps for now, and the kitchen had a stupid door to it.
Yeah, correct.
Which we'll show you. You can see the nice layout here. So, how about your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're right. I mean, I like the area where it's located.
Yeah.
It's like 1 minute to a convenience store. It's like 6 minutes to the station. It's a big house. It's a big garden, or big land with a somewhat big, not maybe big garden, but there's a garden around the house, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, the whole house felt like it's a good, basic layout of the whole house.
Yeah.
So if you were to renovate it, I think it'll become a really good house. It's not.
Yes.
It doesn't have any strange areas. The rooms are decent size, all of them. The staircase is good.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think if you.
And it had this unique Japanese room too.
Yeah, exactly.
So it had a nice balance to it, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of like the whole house, in the way it was laid out.
Yeah.
But like I said, the only concern then, I guess, how much it's going to be to make it look like somewhat like house number one, like a new modern house, right?
Yes. But at least we have some proof.
Yeah, we have a reference.
We have a reference and we have proof that he said that. If he said they said to you, well, it's going to be 10 million yen, you'd be like...
That's 3 times as much.
Yeah, but I also know people too, right?
Yeah. And like I said,
And you saw generally what it would come out to.
And like I said already, if I were to buy this one, probably have to open up the kitchen, right? Because now it's completely closed off.
That's what would cost you the extra money there.
Exactly.
He said about for the 4 or 5 grand, 3 to 5 grand yesterday. So I'm not
yeah.
quoting him on that, but I'm just it's going to cost money. Is what I'm trying to say.
Exactly.
So, is there anything you didn't like about it, or?
No, I mean I don't think there's anything I didn't like. Honestly, I mean the concern about the final price, I guess that's the only thing I would say.
Yeah. Oh, so here's the kitchen, the door. It's just like it was a weird kitchen. Yeah, that needs to be repaired. Don't open the door. Cabinet's gonna fall. I'm repeating myself, I know. I said that in the video. So yeah, I mean, this house for me had the best balance, I'd call it.
I would say so, the best balance, and I think it feels like it has good potential.
Yeah, good potential, best balance.
I mean, the only thing I can keep going back to, right? I mean, how much money you have to put in to reach that potential, right? But I think
it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
And it's not millions. It's not that bad.
You're right. Exactly.
You got to see from our renovations today that it's not as crazy as it would be in America, right?
Correct.
The most that I'd ever seen in renovations is 10 million yen. Like, I know other people who done 10, 50 million on their house, but they redid everything. It's like they almost knocked out everything. So if you get to that point, what's the point, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the only negative for this section would be the area, the train station. Like the area itself you felt it was comfortable to be there.
Yeah.
But to get to Tokyo, you have to transfer at Omiya Station.
Correct.
It's not as easy to access through like Higashomiya was.
Right.
So both these property number 1 and property number 2 are both located in Saitama. Saitama.
Right. And
so Saitama is a very safe area, and ante, steady, I call it. That's why I call it steady, like earthquakes and tsunami and stuff. It's safe from everything usually, so that's why I like it up here.
Yeah.
And most areas are pretty okay from floods, I guess. There's some areas, but nothing really happens.
Yeah.
So, all right, so you're okay with house number 2? You have any questions?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, let's get on with house number 3 here. House number 3 was in Chiba. It was pretty close to the border of Saitama and Chiba, I believe. And it took us an hour and a half to drive there.
Yeah.
It was quite the drive, but it was a fun drive. And we drove all the local roads, so we got some scenery of what we saw around there, which is good. When you come to Japan, you want to see not just train roads, train station, train lines. You want to see stuff. That's why biking and walking is actually the best. But at first, you didn't want to go by car. But I convinced you to go by car,
I mean,
right?
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because it was they were so in different places, these properties, right? So.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I'll start again. So property number 3 for me was a really nice property. I really liked it. Right off the top, the land was massive. It was the biggest of the 4, I believe.
Yeah.
But the house was only 80 something. I think it was the smallest of the 4.
Correct. Yeah.
But it wasn't bad. And it was a unique situation where at one point it probably had 2 houses built on it, because it had this gate here, which is the backyard, which looked like it was the old entrance when they had 2 houses there. So somebody bought the land and built the one house here, and they turned it out. So your garden here, which is not only massive and really nice, but it could be an entrance garden or a backyard garden. So it was nice. And this place also had parking, and the outside of the house looked gorgeous. Like, it's really in good condition. It's really nice. So yeah, I really like this house. It's really nice. A little bit on the smaller side, but still, it wasn't bad. You get a nice view from back. You can see it's built on an old, old kind of what are they called? There's a special word. The walls. It's just a basic wall, stone wall. Something like that. It's really cool. So it's upper level, so you get a smidgen of a view. But I just really like the nature and the way the layout of the garden was. I mean, it's good for a dog and pets if you want to.
Yeah.
So there's our friendly agent. He was a really cool guy. All right, so this house had a little space around the house as well on all sides, and had parking. I liked the entrance of the house. It was really nice. Quality of the sand wall there was pretty good. Shoebox was classic, but still in great shape, so you don't have to change that. You can use it as is. I always test the walls and stuff to see what kind of wallpaper it is, because it's either wallpaper or sand wall. It's the sand that comes off. It's hard to re-wallpaper that. You can, but and look at that. That was the first time I've ever seen this. This is a crap floor. You're like, what is that? Somebody dying there? Actually, you know what? If somebody did die, that's what would happen.
Yeah.
Don't tell me why I know that. So basically, apparently they had some stuff sitting on here for a long time. And I guess the heat and the mildew or whatever, the condensation, ruined the tatami mat. That's just insane how that happened.
Yeah, it looks so strange, right?
Yeah. So basically this house, the inside needed some renovations. The problem with this house is there's a lot of wood walls in it and stuff like that. It was like a log cabin style. And whether you keep those as is or not, or put wallpaper on, I'm not sure, because it was a bit too much for me. It was a bit too much. Like, I like a little balance. I don't mind some here and there, but this entire house was pretty much that. The layout of the house wasn't the greatest. It was okay. It wasn't bad. It was okay. It was a little bit on the smaller side. It had 2 kitchens in it.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Which was okay. You can speed up here a little bit if you want. Yeah, you can see what happens there. So as you can see here, I mean, it's decent. It's decent size. It was in great quality, obviously. So I like the trims and stuff like that, and the ceiling is all perfect. So you can do it as is.
Yeah.
So things to touch up in here would be a new kitchen and a new bathroom for sure. This one would be a difficult one for renovations to decide what to do and what not to do for the wallpaper and stuff like that, because I'm not sure. I like the design on the doors. Was really catchy for me. It was cool, and their doors were in great condition. It's sad when you see those kind of things in bad condition in other houses occasionally, right? And I said it had 2 kitchens, which was kind of weird. Yeah. You don't need 2 kitchens. And the washrooms need to be changed, I think. I mean, they're still usable. They're okay. They were like washlets, but not the best kinds. Like, there are older models, maybe. Yeah. So it's just, there was some weird things about this house. But overall, everything was good. It was good. The spectacular part for me about the house was the garden.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, the location was okay. Is there anything that caught your eye about this place?
Like I said, I mean, the garden was like the main thing. That's the main reason why I want to go and see it, right?
Yeah.
It was like the best garden I think we've seen.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a real garden, right?
Yeah, it's a real garden.
Yeah.
And it's all in one area.
Exactly. It's not like the house in the middle, and the house is like, you can really have a proper garden out there.
1216, by the way.
Oh, okay.
That's the size. You can see how smaller, right?
Right. And like I said, the house wasn't bad, right? It was like good condition compared to the second house, for example, right?
Yeah.
There's a few things you have to do.
Yeah.
And then slightly smaller, like you said. And yeah, if I were to get this one, I would probably want to change at least a couple of these wooden walls. Yes. You know, I could keep a room or two, right? But you don't want it everywhere.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? But which ones do you do?
Yeah, exactly. And the layout was a little bit, I don't know, it just felt a little bit interesting or strange, like this, some kind of small room over there.
Yeah.
And then in some way you would like to have, maybe extend this room or something. I'm not sure really what to do, but...
I mean, the house is already small as it is.
Yeah, correct.
And that room made it feel smaller.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So...
But it's not a bad house. It's a good house, right? And
Yeah,
the garden makes it
cool.
amazing, you know.
Yeah, it's the garden for me. It's all about the garden.
Yeah.
And I'd say it's only about the house in the sense that the house is not garbage.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So if it was a garbage house, then it'd be like, it's funny enough. All the houses we looked at, all the staircases were actually pretty solid. They're all good.
Correct.
They're all well done. I really like them. This one was sturdy, very sturdy on the handlebars. Negatives for you on this house?
I mean, I think we covered it a little bit already, right? I mean, like, you know, there's no huge negative, I would say.
Yeah.
But like the wooden things, and maybe it felt slightly smaller because you start to compare, right?
Yeah.
So when you see in the second house and the last house, you know, then you think about this one again.
Yeah.
It felt a little bit tight. But the question is it too tight? That's the thing, right? I mean, maybe not
No,
tight.
it's not too tight.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
definitely not too tight, but it is smaller.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's something you cannot change later.
Yes,
so
correct.
that's why house number 2 felt like the best balance to me in that sense. It was
yeah.
the right. It wasn't too massive like house
Correct.
number 4,
Yeah.
but it wasn't small like this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this house was bigger than the first house or smaller. Maybe the first house is slightly bigger, or no? Maybe they're the same.
I think the first was like 91 inside.
Okay,
this
so
one is
88?
this is like a little bit
something,
below
so-
90, I think,
yeah.
like you're saying.
So I felt almost the same. They were
Yeah,
like cookie
exactly.
cutter houses, but there's
Right.
the second room kitchen there, or second floor kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
if you have to remove that, then it's kind of
yeah.
almost not a waste of space, but you have to do something with it,
Yeah,
right?
this room is a waste right here.
Yeah,
so
correct,
it
correct.
feels stupid in my mind,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and not only that, the rooms you have in this house, you have no extra room. Like you have no leeway to expand like a storage room or this or that. You have to decide every room exactly.
Yeah.
So you have no room. You have no room for error.
Exactly.
So that's not a negative, but it's a negative. For
Yeah, you have to
me in
consider
that
it, right?
sense. Yeah.
Another thing you mentioned that there's maybe not a big deal, but there's a septic tank here. I mean, that's...
Thank you. I forgot about that. Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned that you have to kind of arrange some kind of emptying or cleaning 4 times a year or
Yeah,
something.
it's basically Mindoksai. Troublesome.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean. Mindoksai, it's a good word you need to learn.
Mindoksai,
Mindoksai,
okay.
Mindoksai, too troublesome, annoying.
Okay.
So that is true. It's not that expensive, it's okay, but it's just something to worry about.
Correct.
Yeah.
Especially if you won't be there the whole time, right?
I only got one property with that, I believe. Most I try to avoid it.
Yeah.
But it really depends on each.
Another thing, I'm not sure if you heard it, right? But traffic here, did you hear it or did you notice it?
No, did you?
Yeah, I noticed that actually. So that's kind of...
Oh, I'm used to it. I didn't notice it.
But here it's super quiet. But there, you know, if you go again, you will probably notice it.
Yeah. You see how quiet it is around here?
That's
that's
super
why
quiet. When I was sleeping, there was like not a single sound the whole night.
Yeah, that's why I like living 20 to 30, 40 minutes from the station, because
Yeah.
you get close enough, but you're far enough away to get bigger properties, gardens, and quietness.
Yeah.
You don't get that out there.
Exactly.
It's non-stop.
And that's the whole point, getting a house where it can be like really
Yes.
quiet and peaceful, right?
Yeah, because that's what you want.
Yes, exactly.
I don't want to be in Tokyo where it's noisy constant. I don't care if you have double pane glass. You open it, get some fresh air, it's like, so, and plus, pollution is very heavy with the roads when it's heavy traffic, right?
Right.
You get fresh air.
Yeah.
It's very important for me. So, yeah. Oh, did you have a good sleep, by the way?
Yeah, really good sleep. You know, still jet lagged, but went to bed at 11. And
Where did you sleep?
At your place, right? In your it's a garden house. What do you call it?
I guarded my man cave.
Yeah, your man cave, right?
Yeah, he slept over the last night. It was good.
Yeah,
so.
no, that's really good. Thank you for that. That's amazing.
Another bonus on your journey.
Yeah, exactly.
Save on hotel fees.
All included.
All inclusive. I'll make you a smoothie if you come in the summer. In the winter, I'll give you a back rub. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Maybe. So yeah, I didn't notice that. I didn't hear that. Okay.
No,
Good
I
catch.
mean,
Maybe I'm used to it.
yeah, I mean, no, it was like, I don't know, I didn't. Yeah, after a while, I saw that there was like a lot of cars, and there was like it coming through the windows, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
that might be a deal breaker for me, but yeah.
I didn't feel it was that bad. It's not like like when I look at the picture, it's not that bad, but it's there.
Yeah.
It's not like right there. So
Yeah.
I was gonna say, the septic tank. So yeah, septic tank. Yeah, sometimes it happens. It really depends on the house. If it was an amazing garden, amazing house, of course I'm not going to care about the septic tank.
Correct.
It just really depends on it.
It's one of the small things, right? That adds up to other things. So.
Plus, you could pay $5,000 or $10,000 to get it changed to the pipe if you wanted to, anyways, right? So I've done that once. It cost me, in my case, it was 10 years ago. On my fourth property I renovated.
Okay.
It cost $5,000 to $10,000 to get it connected to the main street. So
Okay.
yeah, it was an old style washroom. So it was worth it.
Yeah.
But in this case, it really depends on the city. Every city deals with the septic tank differently.
Okay.
Like the only property I have with it now charges me 1,000 yen a month to
Okay.
just drain it. That's all they do, and it's done by the city. So that area. So every area does it differently. Some places might charge you, like this area was it 4 times per year to do it.
Yeah, that's what he said, right?
Yeah. But he might knock it down to 2 for you because you're 2 people living there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's really something you just have to research. And as
Right.
somebody asked me that the other day too, what does this mean? And it came up septic tank.
Right.
So
But you have to schedule it, or they will just come like whenever.
yeah, it depends on the area.
Okay.
So they might have
Okay,
they might have
okay.
their routine. So we don't know.
Okay.
Okay, is that good for house number 3?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Let's go for the next one then.
All right, let's move on to house number 4. Okay, here we are at house number 4, and here's Daniel parking the car. He's practicing the parking. This has been this was a lot easier to park into than the first house. The first house is really tight, like width-wise as
Yeah,
well, right?
this is
and,
good.
and plus the road here is
Yeah.
a lot longer. So that's a good point right away. This road is massive on this one. Oh, that's right. House number 3 and 1 both had very thin roads.
Yeah, yeah.
House 2 and 4 had very big roads, which is, it can be important when you're parking if you feel like that. So, and those turkey heads right there were playing their Pokemon Go. Like, what are the odds of that? That's hilarious. They're just like, hey, it's a Pokemon. He looked at me like, is that a Pokemon? No, it's a Gaijin. Run! Oh, I didn't even notice that.
What is that? Is it
What is that?
electricity or what is it?
It's built into the house. Is that like a mini storage room for you?
That was 200 square meters, maybe.
That's right. This land was 200?
203. It said on the paper. but
Really? This is
yeah.
203?
Yeah, but where was it? I mean, that's
Yeah. Well, the problem with this house, it was 203. The problem, it didn't look like it was that, is because the house was so big.
true.
So, and it's also probably including up to the street where the staircase is taking some of it, right?
Yeah.
So, that's the cool thing about this place is it's higher up.
What's that? Oh, okay.
That's what I asked. What is that? So it surprised me if it's a storage area. Maybe there's a dungeon down there we didn't check out. Cool. Maybe it was the other key for that.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
Cool. We're gonna buy it just to find out.
Yeah.
This house was built up on a cliff, so there wasn't much of a view, but there potentially could be a view in that situation. It was okay. No flooding, obviously. It's a plus and a negative. It's a negative because you gotta walk up the stairs all the time and down. It's a negative because the land up there could be warped, which it was a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a plus because you're higher up and safe and get a view, so criminals can't come in as easy. So there's both ways you can look at it. But it's also a cool thing. It's just really neat. So, but this house was really high up, not a little bit, like it was high up. So the impact of the outside of the house is pretty cool. Like it's pretty massive. As you can see here, it's a really, really big house. It's the biggest house we looked at out of the 4, right?
Yeah, I think it was like 137 or something.
Okay. What was the second house? 120? 130?
No, I think it was like 130 or something. But I think this was slightly a few more square
Oh,
meters.
is it a few more square meters bigger? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, I mean, like, here's the land here. It doesn't look so big because maybe it's up in the air and there's rocks, but it is quite big, and you can park trees here, and you can make your own garden if you want, but it's really tough when it's already gravel like that. So, and you got little edges around here. Unfortunately, the house is close to it. So, I mean, yeah, it's tough, and look how wide that is. So there was trees there at one point.
Oh, they're right in that.
And here too, you can see they were cut. Like you can see them all cut.
Yeah.
It's I don't like when they do that. A lot of properties do that. They cut before they sell them. I'm like, just sell it as is, and then we'll deal with that later. Because they're trying to make it look open. It actually backfires for some properties because you want to see the nature, right?
I mean, I would buy it I would more likely to buy if the trees were there.
Yes,
Like,
because you got to replant the trees or dig those ones out.
Yeah.
That's work.
Yeah.
So, do you see that sickle there? Gonna kill somebody with it? Hope you guys didn't notice that. So again, it had this grand, cool old wall behind here, which is really, really interesting. So that's the house. All right, let's go into the inside of the house. Hallelujah! I had to open. They gave us the keys to the house without having an agent, which happens sometimes. But I had to give them my ID and everything. So as a foreigner, you probably wouldn't be able to pull that off. I don't know. It's tough. It'll be like, who the hell is this guy to rip us off? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This door. First negative for me was the door was in holy crap condition. Like the whole house is gorgeous, but why does this door look like it's
What
been?
happened to it?
Yeah, what happened to it? Maybe my what I can imagine is that there was a dog here, and the dog was a huge dog, and it was just climbing up the door and scratching at it to get in all the time. Maybe because look where it's damaged everywhere, right? It's just insane. It took me about, we can speed ahead here. It took me about 5 minutes to get into the house. Maybe around here. There we go. Okay, so first thing is that this entrance is massive. Like, holy crap. And gorgeous, beautiful. Right away, it's the best entrance of all the houses automatically. And the kitchen layout also was the best out of all the houses. It was really nice. And it was kind of in grungy condition.
Yeah.
It was good countertop, but I don't know if it could be cleaned or not. It might have been like already ingrained into the thing. So this house had a lot of space in the living room, and it had very high ceilings, which was good. It was in pretty good condition in a lot of areas. It even had a massive aircon, which is like industrial size for this. I'd never seen it in a house before. So, assuming it works. If it doesn't work, you're screwed because it's expensive to replace.
Replace that thing.
Yeah, I mean, you could just leave it as is and put it in another location. But to heat the room, think about how hard it would be to heat. That's why that's so big,
ceiling, right?
because it's so high.
Yeah.
So that's a negative.
Yeah.
To heat that room is insane.
It costs you a little bit.
And there's no fireplace, right? So it'd be a good room to show off to friends, though. So I mean, like that was it was in pretty decent condition. The shower room needed to be replaced. The sad thing about this massive house is that the shower room wasn't big. It was 12 to 16 one.
Right.
So I mean, you build a big kitchen. It's kind of like what we just showed you on the rental paper for Milton's kitchen. It's gonna be a little skinnier, or narrower. But I mean, like a big kitchen like this, why would the bathroom be so small? It wasn't important. But the funny thing is that even though it was a small bathroom, what was inside that bathroom?
Even a smaller sauna, right?
Yeah, it was a sauna. Was inside there.
Nippon sauna or something?
Yeah, it was like a midget sauna. It was for like
one person
sauna, not for Vikings for sure. So actually, not for one person, for half a person.
Yeah.
So but it was cool. But the room itself was the other beside it was pretty big. Like it had a makeup counter and stuff. It was like looked like a cool place to stay.
Yeah,
like it's a hotel. And the second floor also had the same counter and also had a toilet up there, so it was cool.
Yeah.
And the upstairs had 4 rooms.
Was it?
I think it was
4
3 rooms. It was 3 normal rooms, and then
I think this was 6 DK. This was like,
so they count the rooms downstairs then.
yeah, the one.
I think
two,
it was
2 downstairs, 4 upstairs. I could say.
Yeah, I think there was 3 normal rooms upstairs. One of the 3 was really, really big and nice and unique with the lights and stuff in it. It was like a movie room.
Yeah.
And then there was the really small room, which I'll give 0.5 because it had a little, what do you call those things? A loft up top.
Yeah.
Which you climb up to, which looked a little bit scary, but it was just, it looked like a room you could...
It was like a
storage room.
Yeah,
you could lock a bad kid in that room or something like that. They're playing the Nintendo. It looked cool when you were a kid, maybe. It looked like an 80s room. Yeah. So, I mean, but the condition of all that stuff was cool. And the view from the window on the second floor that you could look down at because the high roof was pretty cool. You never see that normally. But, yeah, it was grand. It's massive.
It's a very big toilet room.
Yeah, and there's a sink in the toilet.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of great points, and it was grand. If you want a show-off house, this place is amazing. And it was only 20 million, right?
I think.
I forgot to say the second house was 22.8 million, and the third house was 21.8 or something like that. We'll have the prices later.
Yeah.
I forgot to say that. Anyhow, so look how small this bathroom is. And the condition's okay, but it's just like, come on, man.
Such a big house, right?
Yeah. That would be, for me, it's important. But back in the day, it wasn't maybe as important, I guess, because they went to Sentos and stuff.
Okay.
But there's the sauna, folks. So, but the negatives for me in this house was it was just too big. It was too much to maintain. We didn't know where to start with renovations if it needed, it was kind of intimidating, to be honest. And if a leaky roof happened and stuff, it's even higher up than any normal houses. And to heat the place. So if you want to show off, it's cool. But as a regular, the balance was a bit too much for me. So that's my thoughts on that.
And the floor was a little bit uneven in some places, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
There was 2 ports. Like I said, it was tilted a little bit.
Yeah.
And there was 2 areas where you can actually feel the thing sticking up in the ground, where you can see the house broke a little bit. Mm-hmm. And to fix that, cost a lot. It's just too much weird. So,
Right.
What were your thoughts on the house?
I mean, I picked this house because it was, 200 square meter garden, right?
Yeah.
Or land, and then
We just
a
wanted to
big
see it.
house. I mean, on the photos it looked interesting, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we went to see
Yeah.
it. So, I mean, still think it's a big house, which is nice.
Yeah.
But like you kind of hinted, right? It's that it was maybe like too big of a house and maybe a little bit too much unknown, to deal with, especially like a vacation house for me, right? In the beginning, it would probably need a lot of work to kind of get into shape again.
Yeah.
But yeah, nice house, like I say, right? A grand house, and it could be a good house again, but yeah.
I'm sure a lot of my viewers will like this house. Maybe.
Yeah, it looks nice, right?
Yeah.
It looks grand, like you
Yeah,
said.
it looks
right?
like an easy
Yeah.
buy, to be honest, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, I guess it really depends on your personality.
Yeah.
It doesn't
No,
match me.
When you see the second floor, right? It's like it didn't match me also because in some way
Yeah.
I prefer the second house because it was
Yeah.
the layout was more like, I don't know, traditional maybe you call it, or like
Yeah.
more basic.
It was
Here there was
it was more of a combination of a
Yeah,
lot of good things
yeah,
from all the
yeah,
eras,
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of say you want to put it.
Here was more like you go second floor. There was like, nothing really bad, right? But
No.
it just felt different,
Yeah. It kind of like these people were trying to show off
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Because they were open.
everything.
Yeah, everything was open, right?
Yeah, I mean, people like that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
It really depends on your personality.
Yeah,
I get it, but
Right.
but we're similar, so I guess
Yeah.
that's why we understand that. But
Yeah.
it's hard to say. But honestly, out of the four houses, I can't be negative towards
Correct.
any of them. But
Another good thing here was close to a quite big station, right? I mean, it was 20 minutes walk to the Sudanama.
yeah, it was quite close to a lot of stations.
Yeah, and 2 minutes to the closest bus stop. So
Yes.
that's a good thing. And 10 minutes to the closest station, though.
Yeah,
The train station.
that's right.
Yeah.
But the best station was Mayabara, was 20
Yeah,
minutes from. So
Yeah, correct.
when we were driving by, we saw the big city. Like
Yeah,
it looked
yeah.
like a mini Omiya there too, right?
Right.
So this was deeper Chiba. The first house was North Chiba. This was
Right,
like
right.
South Chiba. And when I say South Chiba, I don't mean at the very tip, way down where the beaches are. I mean like where civilization is. Like we're talking Funabashi.
Yeah.
Okay. So like on the map,
Right.
because Chiba goes really deep.
Right.
Saitama goes really wide,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Chiba goes really deep.
Yeah.
And out. Obviously, they're big. They're big
right.
prefectures, right?
Yeah. And the
Kankyo
thing
is massive.
from the big station, for the Sudanama, bus station was like almost like 30 minutes to Tokyo Station, which is like quite close, right? But Shinjuku was more like 45 minutes away, though.
By bus or train?
By train.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's not
but
bad.
yeah, so it's like you have some distance to the station,
Okay.
but once you get there, it's,
Yeah, it's
not
pretty
too
good.
bad.
So the location was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looked like a really good area. Like when we
Yeah.
drove after and we saw, what did we see? Some city buildings or something like that? Or was that the other? No, it was the other house.
Between house 3 and 4, right?
Yeah, we saw different things. But we saw the big city out there. But it just felt like it was its own city.
Yeah,
It was its
yeah.
own thing. It looked like it had some vibe to it. Like there was
Yeah.
some characters in the neighborhood.
Yeah, correct.
So for me, house 2 and 4 had the good character for the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
I mean, no house was, I'd say, perfect, but for me, house number 2 would have been perfect if it was in great shape. But but that's where we're gonna get into it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, are you good with house number 4?
Yeah, I'm good, yeah.
It's a pretty amazing house, isn't it?
That's our air conditioner or what?
That might be for the air conditioner in the ceiling.
Maybe.
Yeah, because it's so big. That's like a nice size. Good point. All right, so I'll give you like overall. I'll rate the properties in my head
Okay.
before and after this video. So like we had some expectations. First of all, like viewing these on pictures and stuff like that. Like I said before, sometimes they're better in person. Sometimes they're worse. So property 1 was better in person.
Yeah, I agree.
Property 2 was, we couldn't tell because we didn't see the pictures, but the outside was better in person, so I agree with that. House number 3 was better in person, but the inside was worse in person than the pictures, but not much.
Yeah.
It was pretty close.
Yeah, exactly.
House number 4 was better than I thought in the pictures, from the pictures, but the outside was worse than the pictures.
Yeah.
Because it looked like a grand scale. So, before watching the video and after watching the video, I slightly changed a bit. I was at, like I said, all 4 houses are great. I could justify all 4. I could justify 1 if you want a little investment, simple life, and already done for your house in a great location, easy decision. If you want to show off grand, amazing house, get number 4, great location. If you want a big ass garden and the location's not so bad as well, you can get house number 3. But if you like balance, get house number 4. So I originally was tied at house number 2 and house number 3. for number 1 because I really liked the garden of number 3, and house number 2 was lacking a bit on the garden, but the house number 2 garden wasn't bad, and it had a very good street front presence for that garden as well. So it was a different kind of garden. And house number 1 was third because it was all ready to go and it was decent enough size. It was fine, and it was a great station. And unfortunately, house number 4 was last for me because it was just too much to take care of, way too much. But after watching the videos, I only changed my mind slightly. House number 2 went to number 1 on my list. House number 3 went to number 2, slightly, because I had to choose one to go ahead of each other.
Okay.
So because of the balance of house number 2, I thought after renovations, I had to imagine the renovations, and I looked at what it looked like from the street. Everything overbalanced. So the only negative I give house number 2 is the fact that the station isn't as popular as the other 3. Like, it's a bit farther out there. But if you don't mind it, that's the only thing. It still had stuff around there. So, but overall house balance and land balance and the parking 2 spots it had the best potential. There was no huge negatives about that place for me. Mm-hmm. And in house number 3, I made number 2 because the negatives of the house it was just, the house is a little bit tight for me, and I didn't know what to renovate. A little confusing. And my love for that garden couldn't overpower the house, unfortunately. It's pretty close, though. I'm not saying it's an easy decision. And then house number 1 stayed in its position because it's an easy decision. Like, I can easily put house number 1 on this list, very easily. But because I want a garden, and because I want a little more space in the house, and there are things that house number 2 had, then that's why it stays at number 3. And house number 4 went to number 4 because of it's too grand, like I said before. But if I didn't see house number 2, I could have got number 1. Could have justified it. Right, number 6. I could have walked in number 1 as alone as a property. I said, yeah, I'll take this. I could have walked in number 2 alone. I said, I'll take this. I could have walked into number 3 property and said, I'll take this. Smidgen of thinking. Probably taking it. House number 4, I could have walked in there and said, I'll think about it, and I might have taken it, but I might have not taken it. It wasn't a no. So it was a yes, pretty much yes, and a no for me. Even though so that's where I came up with mine.
Yeah.
So how about you, my friend?
Right. Yeah. So before we went to the tour, I had my Excel list, right?
Yep.
So I think it was house number 2 and house number 4 that I had as top in there, right, in my list.
Yep.
And I couldn't really separate them. So I had 2 as number 1.
Yeah.
And then the other house number 1 and number 3 was my number 2 then, right?
Okay.
And then when we went to tour, I would say, I think we share a lot of experience and similar opinions here, right? I would say after the tour, like I said, house number 1, it is a super nice house. And if I were to get a house like that, I could probably get it without hesitating, right?
Yeah.
But it's only the garden, right? But it's a very good house.
Yeah.
But it didn't really fulfill the garden part of it, right?
It is what it is.
Yeah, it's a nice house and good price and everything, right? Yeah. The house number 2, that was, like you said, right? It was so unknown because we couldn't see the pictures before, right?
Yeah.
So I was having high hopes for the outside.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of, yes, maybe slightly better than I expected because on the photos online, right, the garden looks so narrow, but when you get inside, it's like, okay,
it's actually very easy. I could stretch my arms out here.
Yeah, correct. So it felt more open than before we did the tour. And inside, right? Inside was kind of almost like expected, I guess.
Yeah.
It was not good. Maybe not bad, just maybe a little bit too much, but it wasn't great, but still expected.
It was perfect in the sense that it wasn't trash.
Yeah, correct.
That's what I was worried about.
Correct.
I didn't expect it to be good. If it was good, I'd been pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
But it was it's still good.
Yeah,
it could be repaired.
It's not complete trash, right?
No.
So we can do some work with it.
That's what I was worried about because he wouldn't show us the pictures,
exactly.
right? So.
And house number 3, I guess, like you said, the right garden was amazing. Kind of living up to the expectations, right? Maybe even better. And the house was maybe a little bit lower than I expected. I don't know. I expected it to be, a better flow in the building and everything.
So similar to me then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
House number 4. I think almost same as you, right? I was hoping for something better outside, but it's it was okay.
It just was boring.
Yeah, it was boring, right? And inside was exciting and interesting, right?
Yeah.
But if I had to rate overall, I would say that after the tour and after seeing the videos, I mean, I didn't really change my mind because I checked the videos myself so much this morning, right?
Okay.
But I would say I haven't changed much I mean, number 2, I would say that's my favorite for now, at least, right?
Yeah.
But we have to explore, more into, I mean, what would it cost to take care of it, renovation, all these kind of things, right? And I'm okay. I mean, like I said, the station is maybe not the biggest, but in some way,
Well, it's touching
there's
too.
a few things in the area.
Yeah, there's a few things in the area,
yeah.
especially if you have a bike or a car, you can explore.
Right, exactly.
And you can get to Kaskabe very easily.
Exactly.
And if you want to take the train down to Omiya, you can get that. It's 4 stations or something away. So.
And also, like we said before, like living up there, it's like similar distance to Tokyo and Shinjuku, more or less, right?
Because we forgot one important thing.
What's that?
House number 2 was only 6 minutes from the station.
Oh yeah, correct, exactly.
That's a huge thing. I forgot about what. It's huge that it nullified the far distance for it.
True. Good point there.
About that.
And there's like a few stores close by, like some convenience stores within a few minutes.
30 seconds to mini stop.
Yeah, that's mini stop, right? And then there's a few others. So yeah, that was kind of, all in all, that's my favorite, I guess.
Yeah.
And then picking a second favorite or second on the list, I would say it's hard between the number 1 and number 3. I would say because like they're good in different ways.
Yeah, good in different ways.
So I would say maybe I put them on the second spot, all in all.
Okay.
And then. Yeah, number 4 was kind of, I guess, the last one, but it wasn't bad. But it just comparing all the 4, I would say, I mean, yeah, I would probably that's the last one I would consider,
But here's a key note: I mentioned earlier that house number 1 was a lot cheaper than the rest of the houses.
Yeah, right.
But here's something very important: you have to remember, house number 2, 3, and 4 were way bigger than the first house.
True.
So even though you're paying half the price because including renovations, the land was also half the size.
So you pay what you get, basically. I mean, like,
yes.
Yeah.
So you're like we said, the other houses, especially house number 2 and 3, you're actually not only are you getting the house for free, you're kind of getting part of the land for free.
Good point, right?
Because the guy was mentioning that the land size was 35 tsubo, and he was saying one tsubo was like 4,000 to 5,000 a pop. If you calculate that, do the math, was 35 times 5, right? Okay. All right, so here we have our Excel spreadsheet that we've been using over the last few months to talk about the properties and grade them and eventually order them to what we wanted. And on the final day, we set up the calls, and I had them ready to go by the time he landed on his plane. And you basically landed on a Saturday?
I landed on Sunday like 7 p.m., hotel 9 p.m., and then we met at 9 the other day. And 12 hours after I landed, we started.
Yeah, 12 hours after you landed, we started 9 a.m. at Minamino Station. We met there and we started on our journey. But I had to do a lot of preparation before he came.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the time he got here, I had all the time meetings all set up for him, and we just went at it. So is this the updated list?
I mean, the ones we were seeing were these 4.
Okay.
So
okay, I see you rated them there. I see.
Okay. Yeah, and this was property 2.
Okay, so property. So the house was pretty big. So the land is 173. You're right. So 173 divided by 3 is what?
Or like 50.
Yeah,
56, 57.
Yeah.
57. Yeah.
57. So 57 times $5,000.
Oh, really?
That's what I'm talking about. Because they calculate their price for land in Tsubo, which is 1/3 meter squared, something like that. It's pretty close. It's not exact. So yeah, I guess you priced it out here by meter squared too, right?
Yeah,
so,
that was kind of just some reference point for the
house.
For the house, yeah.
You should never do that for the house.
For the land instead.
Yeah, always do it for the land.
Okay.
Because the house isn't worth anything. So as I said earlier, look at the size: 101 for the Higashi Omiya house versus 190 or 173. So you're getting like 90% to 80% more land.
Yeah.
And that's where the price comes in. So even though the Omiya house was in great condition and cheaper, and like all of the renovations that are done, here you're basically getting land, and that's what you can't see right away. That's why the price is different. So that's something very important you don't see in the videos. We think all the houses are all the houses, but the land is very different, right? So
that was 190. I didn't remember that was bigger than I remembered it. The third house.
The garden, yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge house.
Yeah.
But I thought it was like 170 or something.
No, the paper. I have the paper. It's pretty big. Nice. That's why I thought when he showed me the paper and the price, he's like, it's actually lower than the value of what he's selling it for, because he showed me some comparisons with other properties.
True.
Of just land itself. The land itself was more expensive than that. So it's like, so you're getting a house plus land for cheaper.
Right,
so
right.
that's a great benefit to that.
ありがとうございます。はい、昨日大変でしたね。すいませんね。まあ4つ見たんですけどね、すぐ迷ってんですよ。そう。せっかく。そう。大変ですよね。まああるんだけど、まあやっぱりいろいろあるんですよね。あなたのところ一番高かったから、まあ好きだけど一番高かったから、まあだって今交渉しようかなと思ったんですよ。家の金額は2240万円ですね。だからリフォームを500万にして120万高くなるんですよね。で、割引が2000万になるから、その半額になったことですよ。だから2120万になったことですよ。だからただの2200万円の、120万円の割引になってるってことですよ。で、可能性だったら、だから来週の月曜日契約できるかなとか、今週の金曜日とか、何でもいいですけど、まあ土曜日でも大丈夫ですね。日曜日でも大丈夫です。そう、私日曜日、月曜日、火曜日、水曜日休みです。そう。はい、私も行きます。大丈夫です。はい、わかりました。はい、お願いします。頑張ってください。すいません。質問あったらまた聞いてください。ありがとうございます。You understand that?